Hi there, I am the CRM Ninja, and on today's episode of the Oops Factor, I have Joy Emedom joining us. Welcome to the show, Joy.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, CRM Ninja.
It's great to have you on the show. I wanted to start off with asking you about one of your hobbies. And I do my background according to people's hobbies. That's my thing. And my background is of a very large library because I understand that you really enjoy reading.
Yes.
How did you get into reading? And what are your favorite authors and subjects to read about?
Okay. So interestingly, I never used to see myself as a brilliant student.
Okay.
So I'm a Nigerian, and we Nigerians used to have this grading system in schools, which I don't think they do anymore, where they would, at the end of every school session, they would classify people as first five and then classify last five. Last five would mean that you didn't do very well, like you're the bottom five of the class. And
So you had sort of the top five, the bottom five, and the middle.
yes, so I never, in my junior time, I think I got into top five once or so. I can't really remember, but I know. But by the time I got into my senior secondary, I wasn't close to anywhere. And in fact, I I remember vividly coming bottom five in one particular semester. And I think I was ashamed to take my result home to my father because he was going to be crazy. So I never saw myself as a brilliant student.
Okay.
Or saw myself as somebody who could even simulate anything. Um, However, when I got back home after secondary school, because I was in a boarding house, and then preparing to enter into the university, the entrance exam you write for the university, my dad wanted me to read a particular course, and I had tried to. I wasn't really good with chemistry, but I found out that in that period where I was self-studying, because I had left school, and when I passed what I wrote to enter school, because my dad wanted me to go to a particular school and course,
Okay.
he said I didn't get the admission, so I had to rewrite again. And then in Nigeria, once you've left school and you want to rewrite the entrance exam, you have to self-study or you go to some coaching center. So I had to self-study. In the period where I was doing self-study, I realized I was reading and I was understanding. But now I was able to streamline the subjects that I liked and the ones that were difficult to me. And that was how I transitioned and decided to do. Then initially I wanted to do statistics because I found out that I was good in maths. But trust me, I was failing maths in school. I wasn't. So, but I just read on my. So I realized that my kind of person, when I read on my own, I do better. I can sit where they are teaching and I can listen. If it's an interactive class, I will speak. But if it's a sit down and listen, I will sit down and listen. And trust me, I will not I will not, I'll just be there. I would do better when I go and I read on my own. So that's how I started reading. And so,
Amazing.
yeah.
And what sort of things do you like to read? What are your favorite authors, favorite subjects?
I don't have any favorite author. Like I said, reading came from a place of where I felt I had failed. Reading came from a place of where I felt I didn't know anything. So it was anything to make me knowledgeable. So I will pick up, a book on anything. I'll pick up a book on science and I'll read and I'll be like, oh, this is what the earth is about. This is what Earth Day. This is what sustainability is. I will pick up anything. If I see something that I don't know, because I found out that when I read it, I do better. Okay, I would read it. So I just have random authors here and there who have read their books and, their books make sense. Lots of non-fiction books for me, not lots of spiritual books are better. I do more of those things because, like I said, I would read anything to improve on my knowledge. So when it came to self-awareness, motivation, I do lots of spiritual books and motivation books.
So let me give you the scenario. We have teleportation, and you have been teleported into the middle of a massive bookstore. Where would you go first within the bookstore?
Because it was teleporting, trust me, I'll go to where they have technology books.
Good answer. Good answer.
Honestly, because if you soak me with technology, I wouldn't worry about where I am.
Got it.
So if I'm where you have technology, I I can go all day. So if you teleport me to somewhere that I didn't know how to come out, trust me, if there are books there about technology, I will be there and I will be fine.
Amazing. Yeah, me too. I mean, I love technology and I love reading. I mean, when people used to ask me what my favorite author is, I said, I can give you my top 20, top one,
Exactly,
top
like
five,
that's
doesn't
what
matter.
exactly. I can just keep listing them. So I wouldn't say I have any favorite. I stumble on this book, it's good. I tell someone about it, and then the next thing I'm seeing another good author. So I've moved on. No hard feelings to all the wonderful authors, but I don't have any
Yeah.
favorite.
That's to me, that's very reasonable. So going from reading to the oops factor, what do you want to share?
My so for me, my oops factor is I think I'm still in the process. Like I keep saying, oops, oops, I fix it, oops, I fix again. Because I feel like in life you will keep having that oops. Like you will keep on having like a child who needs to walk. The child never walks from birth, but eventually a child gets to walk, right? And sometimes if you look at the whole period, so there's always the oops for me. And one of it is okay, I'll say two. One of it was around growing up, like deciding what to study in school. Like I said, my dad had a vision of what he wanted. And it wasn't wrong because when I look at what he wanted me to study, it's of high demand in recent times.
Okay.
However, it wasn't what I wanted. It wasn't aligned. And oops, I had to waste 6 years waiting to eventually do what I like to do. So
In some cultures, that can be very strong, though, when parents are deciding what their children
yes,
should be doing growing up. And sometimes, especially in those cultures, it can be very difficult to go against the grain and to say, no, I'm going to do something different.
sometimes I wish he was alive for me to tell him, you see what I'm doing now, it's not bad after all, and see what technology is like. Because the truth is, my crave for technology actually started from him. As a businessman, what he had was the typewriter. I don't know if you can remember the normal typewriter that had the
Yeah.
ribbons. That was the computer my father had in his business. And that was where I started deriving joy. So today I type on my keyboard and I don't look at it. I could actually look away and I could type a full textbook on my laptop without looking because I started using typewriters,
Touch
and
typing,
that's
it's where it started.
yeah. So that's where I knew that my brain liked things around. And then as technology began to evolve, but so for me, the oops was if only I knew like this is imagine 6 years plus the 4 years I spent in university and what I'm doing today. Uh, it's like oops, 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 I wish, but however, I got to university, studied computer science, came out, and I have pushed myself. I don't even think I'm yet there, but at least I look back and I say to people, it doesn't matter how the story is, just keep your focus where you want to go to. Another oops is even in my recent job, I have an oops. Like I feel like in life we'll keep having oops. But it's about don't
Yep.
give up. Don't let it deter you from where you're going to.
Life
Um,
is a journey. It's a series
life
of different things that we're doing. Sometimes we'll trip and fall, and sometimes we'll skin an arm or a leg.
absolutely. So another one was I had a job interview, my first ever international job interview, and I had done the first level of the interview. I got a good
Okay.
feedback, and so they had scheduled me for the second one. And so this, like I told you, because I always have this thing where something always just distracts me and I forget. So I always like to be early. So I had connected into the session and I had sat down and I was waiting. And oops, a friend called me on the phone. So I'm plugged in with my headset and I'm waiting the session connected, just waiting for the person to connect and probably start. And then a friend calls me to say, oh, their website went down, certificate expired, that please he can't install the certificate. And I'm like, okay, so I switched to my second screen. I'm on my mobile phone now and I'm connecting into his system and fixing it. And the
So
recruiter comes,
So whilst you're
whoever,
waiting for the recruiter to come for an interview, which you've got the software on one screen, you're busy troubleshooting a friend's website problem on a second screen and totally
absolutely.
ignoring the fact that you're waiting for the interviewer.
Yes. Now, guess what? The interviewer comes
Come on,
to
tell me
tell
what
me,
happens, because I think this actually could be quite good from an interview perspective because you get to see what somebody actually does or them in the thick of things. Go on.
The interviewer comes. Of course, they're not seeing the screen because it's on the other screen, but they just hear me talk and they're saying hello. And they waited for 20 minutes. I didn't speak. And then they felt bad. So they replied and said, they're sorry. Oh my goodness me.
20 minutes. That was a patient interviewer.
I was so engrossed. Like I said, I like technology. I was so engrossed in trying to help my friend fix because their website had gone down. He was getting the heat. And oops, I wrote, I tried to make a case, and that was it for me. I lost that opportunity.
So the interviewer sort of said that was it. They were canceling it essentially.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And that was
okay.
They didn't go back.
I can see it their side as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So that was a big oops for me. I was like, because by the time I was done with him, then I remembered, okay, I'm supposed to be. So I went and I now saw, and I was like, no. And I was okay. And I went back to my email and immediately I had seen the email from her. And I replied, I said, please, can we reschedule? Oh my goodness. So I called my friend and I was like, do you know that I was connected to a session? And the truth is, our reaction was, oops. And he was like, he's sorry. And I'm like, it's fine. It's what it is. Like, but it was a hotty one. I dusted myself out of it, and that was, I think, 2016 or so. And today I'm working for an international company.
See?
So yeah, life happens and you pick up yourself. You don't allow it deter you. You don't allow it worry you. It would worry you sometimes because you're human, but just find things around to remind you of who you are, remind you of where you're going to. It's okay to fall. It's okay to bruise. It's okay to even get laughed at sometimes. It's okay to get mocked at. But
this is one reason why I find community so important, because when you're working your job, whether you have colleagues around or you don't have colleagues around doing the same thing, you're sort of head down, you're focusing on it and you think, am I doing it the right way? Am I not doing the right way? And what happens if it goes wrong? But people in the community talk about this in user groups and in other stuff on a regular basis, and you get to see how other people also have that. You're not unique in that sense.
Absolutely, which is one of the things that has motivated me into pushing myself out now to speak, because I've always felt like I have some, like I told you, I have so many oopsies. I have so many of them. But when I look at my progress, I'm like, hey, Joy, you need to let people know, because if people see you, they will really know that it's okay to oops here, stand up, just move, learn the lesson, go somewhere else. Oh, another oops, and that's it. But we never give up. That's it. We never give up.
That is very true. So if you could talk to your younger self, say go back 10 years or so, or to other people in the community who are starting their journey or just starting to get involved in the community, what would your top 3 tips or life lessons be to them in order to help them move forward?
Number one, don't compete with anybody. I used to tell people, I'm like, there's so many opportunities. Like it's okay if we have 5. It's okay if there are 5 doctors. It's okay if there are 5. Like there's never too much of anything. It's about finding what your niche is. What's that thing that separates you? So in the technology world, some of us like to talk. So what will be educators or trainers or business presenters, whatever. Some other people would just want to sit behind the screen, never show their face, but they will crack every difficult solution. Some people will be the ones who will develop these softwares for us to use and look like the gurus. Like I told someone, I said, do you know people who put together your laptop or your mobile phone and you use it and probably you do your YouTube video and you're getting XYZ million views? You only were able to do that because someone put up a software. You don't know who that person is. You never might get to even see him. But that person, trust me, is fulfilled. They've done what they want to do and they're okay with being invisible for people to become visible. Yep. So there's no competition. Whatever you want, first of all, just tell yourself, I want to do this. Now, this is what I want to do. Look for people who have done it, learn from their mistakes, then make your own, because people will also learn from your own mistakes, and then just build on that. So first thing, don't compete with anybody. Don't ever try to be like anybody, but emulate people. Say, oh, I could be somewhere listening. Say, oh, if I like the way CRM talks, I like the way he asks this question. That's good. So I take those points and add. But it's not like, oh, I think I should. No, there's no need for the competition. We all can work together to find your niche, find that thing that separates you. It could just be that you know how to pay attention to details. I told someone, I said, I don't like documentation as much as I do them, right? So when I did the documentation, people say, oh, it's good. I'm like, I don't like it. I've met people who are hands-on technology people that are good with documentation. If I find you on a project with me together, trust me, I will not even do one documentation. I will be so happy to have you do
I don't like documentation.
Do all the document. But guess what? I can criticize documentations. Like, do it. I can say, no, you didn't paginate it well. You didn't do this. But, putting all those things together, stressful for me. But I've seen people who like it. So if I'm with them on a project, I preach them. I push them for. I'm like, do it. Go and present. Like, I don't even mind if you don't put my name as a reviewer. It's fine. Do it. I will review. But like, shine. That's you, because I know that I can't do what you're doing. So for me, like, find your niche, find that thing that makes you stand out, and take it one step at a time.
Don't run before you can walk.
You'll get there. There's no hurry. We'll all get there.
Brilliant. Well, that's really interesting experience and some really powerful lessons and lessons for life, really, that you've shared with us. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
It's been a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you so much. It was. No, I like to talk, but I'm trying to be very, very nice today and not talk and bore, because I feel like I have so much to tell people in my little life on how, get going, don't give up on yourself, keep pushing,
Definitely.
Never get tired, go out there, look for people, ask questions. Thank God for technology today. You can be inspired by somebody who who doesn't live in the same country with you, who probably just go out there, and you'll be able to achieve anything. Recently, my brother published his first book, and I pushed him because every time I would see him write things on his Instagram post, and I said, "You're a writer?" And he's like, "Really?" I said, "Yes." I was like, "Okay." And his mind was still going on physical book, how he's going to. And I said, "No, there are ebooks today. There are audio books. Like, you don't." So he just took bits, and I said, "Let's just put it out there." Took bits and bits of things there, so, and boom. And we had a book we launched on the 1st of May. And I said, "That's it. Go to Amazon. You're now an author." And then you build on there. And he's been so happy. Like, I tell people, I said, don't limit yourself. Just try. Keep pushing. Keep, I think sometimes pressures of life, issues of life sometimes tend to overwhelm us. And we think that we're the only ones in that ship. We're the only ones that have this kind of problem. Life is not fair to me. Come on, if we all had to open our mouths.
We're not unique. There are other people out there as well.
Yes.
So totally agree on that. Well, viewers, hope that you've enjoyed this episode and the wonderful lessons, the very important lessons there are to learn. Feel free to check out the rest of the Oops Factor playlist, subscribe to the channel, and take a look at the blog. And if you would like to come on, hit the link somewhere in the description below, put your details on it, and I'd love to have you on the show. But above all, have an amazing day.